Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is going on, Man Hour Nation? It's your boy, BC Beastie Brandon Combs, coming to you live. Welcome to the best damn sports radio show on the planet. This is Man Hour. I am your host, Brandon Combs. If you have not yet done so, because you haven't had time because we just started, but still, if you have not done so, at any point through the show, please click like, share, and subscribe on whichever platform you're watching us on. You have no idea how much it means to us to share the content, to like the content. Let us know that we are doing the things that you guys like to see, the things that you guys like to hear, and let us know we're doing it the right way. That's the way we improve on this. That's the way we keep our motivation for this whole thing going forward. If you're watching us on Roku TV, on Belly Up Sports, like what you see, you can head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. Subscribe for as little as $2.99 a month. Become a member of Man Hour Nation. And once you're a member, head on over to manhourradio.com. Pick up some good merchandise. We got hoodies. We got t-shirts. We got beanies. We got joggers, phone cases, much, much more. And now that I've tried to pay the bills, we got a great show lined up for you guys. We've got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of things that I want to get to. I am going to be on my own tonight. So I see Buck's in the chat. I see Alpha Rob's in the chat. Buck, I know you're at work. Alpha Rob's in the chat. I know at some point here we'll probably see Drew in there, Michelle in there. Give me all the input you can in the comments. Help me out here. Let me know. Give me some feedback. Give me something to go off of. Make me yell at you like Buck so often likes to do. But anyway, one of the first topics I want to get to, which is kind of the title of the show tonight, which is why are fans so stupid? I say it all the time. Look, I'm a fan, right? And there is a small percentage of fans that use common sense. There's a far greater percentage of fans that don't do so much. So one of the things that I want to talk about is the arrest that was made in an altercation after the NFC Championship game that left a 49ers fan in a coma. Now, for those of you who don't know, there was an altercation after a 49ers lost to the Rams at SoFi Stadium. And unfortunately, the result of that altercation left a fan needing to be medically induced in a coma. He got knocked out with a punch, fell down, hit his head, and suffered a brain trauma. Sad. I'm not condoning any of that. I'm not saying that I hope this guy pulls through. I hope this guy survives. However, upon reading the story and reading the facts, because I know that's a different thing nowadays in our culture and our society, is to actually read the facts and listen to an entire story before making up our minds. But that's what I did. So I read up on this story, and it turns out that the fan that was in the coma is the fan that started the fight. They say he's in a group with a bunch of other 49ers fans, and on video, he pushes the Rams fan. So the Rams fan turns around and pushes him back. The 49ers fan turns around and goes to push him again, and he gets knocked in the jaw. Falls on his head, hence gets rushed to the hospital, is in a medically induced coma. They're talking about, oh, the family is saddened by these events. The family is focusing on getting him healthy, and hopefully he pulls through. And look, I agree. Hopefully he pulls through. If this was my son, I would be devastated. I would be hoping that he pulls through too. However, this was self-defense. This guy started the fight. So the outpour of, oh, well, this is why, the Rams fan needs to be put in prison, and he was released on a $30,000 bail for defending himself. $30,000 bail. And now, I mean, people are just, this guy needs to go to prison. This guy, for what? For defending himself? Because he got pushed. So then he pushed the guy back. Then the guy goes to throw a punch, and instead he lands his punch and knocks the guy out. It's called life. It's called play stupid games. You win stupid prizes. I'm so sick of it nowadays where, like Alpha Rob says, welcome to 2022. And Chrome, I see you out there. What's going on, Chrome? I agree. It's 2022, right? We've got things happening in this world. We've got things happening in a society where, like I said, we don't look at things from both sides of the fence. We don't like to read a whole story, right? And like the Brian Flores thing, which we'll get to that a little bit later on too, because I got some more stuff to say about that. But you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And when you go to a sporting event, you watch your team play. Now, look, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, probably over 500 sporting events in my lifetime. I've been to a lot. I enjoy it. I go a lot. I go as much as possible. And all sorts of sports. I've been to hockey games. I've been to football games, basketball games, plenty of baseball games. I've been to stadiums all across the country. And the one thing that I've never done, never even thought of doing, never even crossed my mind, was to fight over the team that I'm rooting for. I'm not going to fight and get into an altercation with you because you are rooting for the opposite team. Whether my team wins or my team loses, I'm not that guy. And to have that mentality is just, it's insane to me, right? We've all got to go to work on Monday. We've all got to go to work the next day. We've all got to get up and live our lives, take care of our families, pay our bills, do the things we're supposed to do. But you've got people out there, and they see it all the time. I mean, look, this has become a social media phenomenon, right? You see the videos all the time. Fans in the crowd fighting. This fan got drunk. This fan did this. This fan did that. It's now become a social media craze. And you've got people going out there looking to start the fight because the cameras are rolling. They want to be the next person that goes viral for whatever reason. And this stuff is stupid. Stupid. Look, man, anybody who knows me knows how deep my love for baseball is. And anybody who knows me knows how deep my love for the Chicago Cubs is. Like, there are nights where my night is just like, I'm just mad, angry because of what I watched go on in a Cubs game, whether they made the wrong call or a call was blown or the game is over. And I'm just mad, right? I've gone to games where the Cubs, I've seen the Cubs play in New York. I've seen the Cubs play in Philadelphia. I've seen the Cubs play in, I'm trying to think. I've seen them play a bunch of places. I've gone to, seen the Bears play against New England. I've gone to all that. And when my team has come up on the short end of the stick, it's never made me so upset that I just wanted to start a fight. Let's just start a fight. Let's just go out and knock somebody in the face. Because we've got to get back to work the next day, man. Look, we could banter, we could joke around, we can talk crap all we want. And I'll do that till we're blue in the face. I could talk shit with the best of them. I'll come at you from all sorts of angles. But it's just stupid to want to go in and start a fight. And then this guy gets what he deserves. Look, does he deserve the coma? No. But did he deserve to get knocked on his ass? Absolutely, 110%. You went out, you shoved another man. You thought it was going to be cool. He shoves you back, so then you go to hit him, and instead you get hit and you get knocked on your ass. You got what you deserved. So I don't feel no pity. I don't feel no any sorts of, hey, I've got to feel bad for this guy, because it's just it's stupid. And anybody that feels bad for this guy, like, you got to read the story. And then if you still feel bad for him, I don't know what to tell you, because to feel bad for this guy is just, it makes zero sense. Let's get to the comments here real quick. I see Drew in the chat. I see Michelle in the chat. We got Alpha Rob out there. What's going on? I got Buck. I got Chrome out there. Chrome says, the Bears. The Bears, yeah. The Bulls. Hey, look, the Bulls, they're starting to disappoint me a little bit. I thought they were better than what they've been playing lately. Philadelphia took them to task today. It was a close game. Philadelphia still took them to task. Chrome says, cool Cubs poster. I appreciate it. A lot of my memorabilia that is not shown. I got stuff all over the place, man. From baseballs to pictures to, yeah. Anyway, appreciate it. Appreciate the love, Chrome. Rob says, absolutely, Combs. They only see the story one-sided and the so-called victim side. And look, that's a media thing, right? Because mainstream media, we're talking about like the ESPNs, the ABC News, which is really owned by the same company, the Fox Sports, the CBS, those types of places. That's what they're picking up. They're picking up the victim side of things because they want to enhance the victim story. They want it to be, the victim got what he deserved, and they just don't want to admit to it. And it doesn't fit their narrative to talk about it from a common sense point of view. Common sense doesn't fit the media's narrative. And that's what I love so much about doing the Man Hour, right? Because I can give you sports takes from a sports fan side of things, but I'm not blinded, or I won't even say blinded. I'm not bound to adhere to the politics of any sports station. We partner up with people like Belly Up Sports. We've got other stations that were part of 313 The Flash, which has invited us to go up to Detroit to do some live shows from there in a couple months. We do business with a lot of other stations, and we will never intentionally say something or do something that is going to put them in a bad spot. But we are also not going to, that's one thing Buck and I have really done a good job of, is we don't conform to the ideologies of whatever political party, whatever politics the station is bound by, because that's just not us. We look at things from both sides of the field. We think about things with common sense, and we tell you like it is. You might agree with us. Great. You might not. That's great too. Like, you're entitled to have your own opinion. But that is one of the things that I love about doing this show. Chrome says they can't handle their booze. That's 110% correct. I mean, it's insane. Alpha Rob says that's what happens when you talk that big boy shit. It's true. I mean, you talk to the wrong person, you come after the wrong person, they might knock you on your ass. I've told people many a times, you don't have to be the bravest man in the world to get your ass kicked. You don't have to be the toughest man in the world to get your ass kicked. Like, I've watched Rome. Like, you look at these guys in the UFC, right? You look at guys like I mean, guys that will just destroy you. I mean, you're talking about guys like God, I can't even. I'm trying to think of names off the top of my head, and all of a sudden, I can't think of any of the UFC fighters. I just watched some, but you look at guys, that are out there like God, why can't I think of any freaking fighters? You look at you look at my boy, the Irish fighter over there in the UFC. For whatever reason, I'm drawing a blank on all fighters' names right now. But you could get knocked out, and you're still a badass. But if you talk to the wrong person that way, and you're just an average Joe like me or like Drew or like Chrome or Alpha Rob or any of these other dudes, and you talk that trash, and you talk that trash to the wrong person, and you get knocked on your ass, you get what you deserve. It's just how it goes. Drew says Ronda Rousey could beat me up. Hey, Ronda Rousey could beat me up too. I ain't gonna lie to you. Ronda Rousey could do whatever she wanted to me. As Michelle chimes in, hey, Michelle. Conor McGregor, that's the name I was thinking of. Conor McGregor is a bona fide badass. And one of the memes that are always out there that I laugh at, hell, I made one for the Packers to go in with jest with Drew and with Wyatt, or I'm sorry, with Tori and Wyatt with their Packer fandom, and I put that Conor McGregor meme up of him after he went to sleep, and he had a Packers shirt on. I photoshopped the Packer because that's just, I mean, like, anybody can get put to sleep. Brock Lesnar got put to sleep. Brock Lesnar, a gold medal national champion wrestler, guy, heavyweight champion in the UFC, trained fighter, gets put to sleep. And you think just because you're a badass walking out of with a 49ers jersey on and you want to push a Rams fan because their team just beat you, or you let them beat you, I should say, in an NFC title game, you want to go and push them and not expect to get slapped in the face? Man, stop. Michelle says, Combs, I'll beat you up. You could beat me up too, babe. I'm just saying, Ronda Rousey is, she's there too. That's all. Anyway, moving on. NFL ref Tony Corrente has announced that after 27 years in the NFL, he is retiring. 27 years in the NFL. God, it's almost like he was holding a seat in the Senate, right? Like, this guy was never going to go away. Is this what it's going to take for officiating in the NFL to get better? Do we need to put term limits on referees in the NFL? I mean, the officiating in the NFL has been so bad. And I don't think that the NFL as presently constituted is going to get any better anytime soon. Now, this might be a start because this guy is one of 8 that has announced that they're retiring from the NFL as an official. I mean, that means 8 new guys can come in that hopefully they could train the right way and do the right thing so that the officiating maybe in the next 5 to 10 years isn't so damn atrocious. I mean, it is now. And I don't know how they're going to fix it. I've thrown out some ideas on how they can fix it. But maybe this is what the NFL needs. They just need these old guys to start retiring and get the new blood in there. Maybe they can call things the right way. Because it's been a league-wide issue for a long time. And it's never been more evident than it was this past season. This past season has just been, it's been garbage. Every game, league-wide, it's just been horrendous to watch. So I don't know if this is what the NFL needs. I don't know if this is good for the NFL, but Tony Corrente, congratulations to you, 27 years retiring. See you when we see you, I guess, because oh God, I just don't know. I don't know what they're going to do about NFL officiating. Another thing I want to touch on before I get to my first break. This story just blows my mind. So I talk to people. So I deal with a lot of sports collecting. I collect helmets, as you can see behind me. I collect baseballs. I collect, pretty much anything. Photos. I've got all sorts of autographed memorabilia. And one of the things that's worth the most are some of these baseball cards that come out, right? I see people get really, really happy about baseball cards. And there's a lot of money still in that industry. I don't know why, personally. I used to collect when I was a kid, obviously. But then I just kind of, found a different hobby. Like, I don't know, collecting cards, which I'm clearly wrong for this, because I should have just kept collecting, because maybe that's where my millions and millions of dollars are at. But a Honus Wagner card, not even a Honus Wagner card, a half of a Honus Wagner card. This thing is torn in half. A Honus Wagner card that is torn in half sold for $475,000, $475,960 to be exact. It's the first Honus Wagner card to ever sell for under $1 million. But this was half a card. Half a card. The thing looks like somebody took a big old bite out of it. And somebody paid $475,960 to have this card. That blows my mind. People with that much money to spend that much money on a baseball card, on any card, like, isn't there something better they could do with their money? Isn't there something better that they can do with $475,000? I mean, if you're just going to put it on half of a baseball card, I mean, hell, can't you help some homeless people out? Buy a couple of houses? Buy an apartment complex and put up some homeless veterans or something? $475,000 for half of a Honus Wagner card. And I see Chrome saying, what card was it? I don't exactly know that, but I'm going to look it up right now because I want to know that too. I did see a picture of the card earlier. I do know that it was it's one of those rated cards, which I don't know much about that portion of the collection, because I don't deal with cards myself. But it was one of those that I was in awe of the amount of money that was spent on this card. And here it is right here. So it's a T206 Honus Wagner baseball card, set the stratospheric record for the most expensive sport card of all time when it sold for $6.6 $6 million. This was a T206 as well, but it was torn in half. So I'm looking at the card right here. Let me see. Actually, you know what? Here, let me do this. Let me show you. For those of you watching on Roku TV, let me see if I can share this with you, and maybe you will be able to see it. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, let me bring it up on screen. Here you go. There you go. That's the card right there. That is half of a card. That right there just sold for $475,960. And Drew says T206 is the holy grail of sets. I mean, maybe if they're in good condition. I mean, this thing looks like somebody took a bite out of it. It looks like somebody's dog got to it or something. Now, let me get this off there before we get copyrighted for showing the website of another company. But I don't get it. So that draws me to this, right? What the hell can we do to draw money for Man Hour? Because we've been trying like dogs. Me and Buck have been working night and day to try to get this thing to take off, to try to get some sort of support, to try to get some sort of monetary value into the show, so that we could bring a better show to you, so we could do this for you as a living. And we can't get anything. We can't even get, we get you guys. You guys will donate to us here and there. $5 here, $9 there. We had a listener a while back donated $50. Like, that stuff helps. But $475,000 for half of a baseball card. What that would do for the Man Hour, man. I tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna hop on my first break right now. We will be back. Give me just a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 Anything negative, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase it? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
we are back. That was kind of a hyped up video there. I like what Buck did on that commercial. That was I'll take it. I enjoyed that. He might have hit the might have missed on the bleep button there a couple of times, but that's all right. That was a hyped up commercial. Good job, Buck. But anyway, let's see here what we got. Javi says you guys need some ex-players on your show. We've had that. I mean, we've had that. We're working on it. I do know that we've got a former Super Bowl champion lined up at some point here to come on the show. We haven't announced who yet. We will once it's confirmed. But I know that that's coming. I mean, we've had UFC fighters on here. We've had players that are in college on here. We've had former MLB players on here. And I'm also in talks with another former MLB player. So, we get some love. We get some people to come on and people to do stuff. But it's really hard for a small time podcast that is just trying to make it two average Joes who don't. Buck's got the most notoriety playing at K-State, being a linebacker for Kansas State, playing in the Arena Football League. He's the closest we got to being a former player. But we're not those guys that, I don't have, we don't have, we're not the, the Pat McAfees. We're not the other guys out there that have, these resumes that show, hey, or that allow us to bring our friends over to help us launch this thing, right? We don't have that. I don't have Aaron Rodgers coming on the show or Tom Brady coming on the show because we don't have that resume. So it's really hard for a show like this to grow. And I know I'm going off a little bit on kind of a tangent, but just to give you guys sort of an idea as to where we stand as a show, I mean, we really do a lot of work off script, off camera. We do a lot of work on the show to do what we can to bring you guys what you like to see, what you guys like to hear. But, at some point it becomes we've got our families. Buck's got 2 young children, his wife who works. We both work full-time jobs. I've got Michelle, we've got Aubrey going into private school. I've got my younger kids as well that we're got all sorts of stuff that we're doing. So we've got to work. And so, at some point we just need that person who's willing to spend $475,000 on half a baseball card to come in and help us out. Plain and simple. That's just, that's where we're at. So we're working on it, Javi. We are working on it, as Drew said here. Drew says he's glad that we're able to get Buddy RC on. We're looking to get RC back on again. Talked to RC quite a bit behind the scenes. So, we're looking forward to having him back on. I'm looking forward to baseball just ending this stupid lockout. Certainly looking forward to that. Speaking of things that I'm looking forward to, I want to talk a little bit about this Brian Flores lawsuit, right? So Brian Flores puts in a claim for the discrimination, which we talked about last week on the show. And he's saying that these Rooney Rule interviews are shams, which, yeah, I mean, when you put in a rule that forces people to interview a certain amount of people before hiring the person that they ultimately want, some interviews are going to be shams. I mean, it's just, if you didn't think that was going to be a thing, then you were kidding yourself. If you didn't think that the Rooney Rule was going to force the owners of organizations to interview people, even though they knew who they wanted to be their head coach, you were fooling yourself. But I started looking into it, right? I started looking into the history of minority coaches in the NFL. Now, Fritz Pollard was a head coach back in the early 1900s, 1921 to 1925 or something like that, or he was a coach during both of those seasons. He was the first African American, but it was before the NFL really formed. So it was the Akron Pros and the Hammond Pros. He had an 8-4 record, 667 winning percentage as a head coach. Nothing too much there, right? But then from 79 to 87 for the Oakland Raiders and also 92 to 94 for the Seattle Seahawks, Tom Flores was most notably one of the premier minority head coaches in NFL history. Won Super Bowl 15. He won Super Bowl 18. 97 and 87 as a head coach. 8-3 in the playoffs as a head coach. He was a Hall of Famer, no doubt. Tony Dungy, another Hall of Fame minority head coach. Coached from 96 to 2001, 2002 to 2008 with the Buccaneers and the Indianapolis Colts. Had an all-time record of 139 and 69 as a head coach. Won Super Bowl 51. Beat my Bears with the Indianapolis Colts. It still drives me nuts how we just stopped hitting Peyton Manning in the mouth. But I digress. Tony Dungy won a Super Bowl. A great record. 70 games over 500. A 668 winning percentage as a head coach. Then you got Mike Tomlin, most notably now, right? Mike Tomlin's been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers since 2007. He remains the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Has never had a losing season. That's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing that he's never had a losing season. 154, 85, and 2 as a head coach. 8-8 in the playoffs. Won Super Bowl 53. Then you've got Ron Rivera, another minority head coach, 89 and 82 as a head coach. But other than those guys, right, the Rooney Rule came into effect in 2003. Prior to 2003, there had been 8 minority head coaches in the NFL. 8. So the NFL said, hey, you know what? I think maybe we do have an issue. Since the Rooney Rule has been instituted, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 minority head coaches in the NFL since 2003. That's 18, well, going on 19 years now. 23 minority head coaches have been hired. Most notably, Marvin Lewis and Lovie Smith. Marvin Lewis was 131 and 122. Lovie Smith was 89 and 87 as a head coach for the Bears and the Buccaneers. Won the NFC Championship. Faced Tony Dungy in that Super Bowl. It was the first time 2 African-American head coaches had faced off in a Super Bowl. And things were great. It was cool to see. It was fun to see. It was fun to watch. It was a great Super Bowl. But other than that, I start looking at it, and you're looking at guys like Terry Robisky, who was a interim head coach for the Washington Redskins, was 2-6. You had Romeo Crennel, who was 30 and 62 as a head coach for 3 different teams. 3 different organizations hired him to be a head coach. 30 and 62. You look at, I'm going to leave all the interim guys out of this, but you look at Mike Singletary, who was 18 and 22 as a head coach. Raheem Morris, 17 and 31. Leslie Frazier, 21 and 32. Todd Bowles, 26 and 41. Hugh Jackson, 11, 44 and 1. Vance Joseph, 11 and 21. Brian Flores, the guy who filed the lawsuit, is 24 and 25 in 3 seasons as a head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Losing record. So you start looking at all these NFL head coaches and you look at their records and you say to yourself, would you have held on to any of those guys? Did these guys have a fair shake? And I get the premise behind Brian Flores' dispute, right? I get the premise behind it. I get what Brian Flores is trying to do. I get what he's trying to say, and I respect it. I really do. But there's a couple things that I don't get, right? So we talk about the percentage of minority head coaches. And one of the arguments there is the percentage of minority black coaches compared to the percentage of minority players is astounding. And how can, we expect these athletes, these minority athletes to excel if their coaches aren't minorities as well? And I don't buy that. Not only do I not buy that, my question is if we're so focused on the percentage of coaches that aren't minorities, why aren't we so worried about the percentage, which is 73%, of minority players? Why aren't we worried about the percentage of white players? Why is it only racist or considered discrimination when it comes down to the fact that there are less minority head coaches? When you start looking at their records, you start looking at what they've done, what the minority coaches have done, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 that you can name, they don't have winning records. They haven't had a good track record. But then you also have the talks on the interview process. And what do you got to do? And the NFL has said that they're open to making changes to allow, no more sham interviews. But let me ask you a question. If Jim Harbaugh makes himself available to everybody in the NFL, he says, look, I want a job in the NFL. He's one of the most coveted head coaches right now, right? Like, everybody's like, Minnesota fans were losing their minds last week thinking they were going to get Jim Harbaugh before he went back to Michigan, right? And Miami fans wanted Jim Harbaugh. This is a guy who's coveted, happens to be a white head coach. If Jim Harbaugh makes himself available to everybody and somebody wants to hire him, every interview that they give after interviewing Jim Harbaugh is a sham interview. Every single one. So I don't understand why you have to interview a certain amount of people to get the guy that you want. If Mike Tomlin becomes available, there's going to be 32 teams in the NFL that are willing to get, 31, because Bill Belichick's not going anywhere in New England. There's going to be 31 teams in the NFL lined up to come after him because he's a proven head coach. Never had a losing season as a head coach. I don't understand the concept other than grasping for what the narrative is right now. And that's what we have right now. And then you get the talks of, and I see the comment coming in from Javier. Where'd it go here? Let me pull it up. Flores should have spoken up when owners offered him in 2019 to lose games. Now he wants to speak up. Well, let's talk about that too. Because one of the things that nobody is talking about, one of the things that nobody is coming out and talking about, I don't hear this on any platform, is, did he take the money? Did he get paid for those losses? Because if you got paid for those losses, if you took the money, your argument is null and void. And not only that, I don't want you in my locker room because you're corrupt. What's going to happen if you come to my organization? I don't want you to lose football games. I want you to win football games. What happens if I'm coming to you and saying, hey, look, I want you to do your best, to do what you got to do. We get to the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you got some Vegas odds maker shark out there who comes to you and says, look, I'll give you $3.5 million if you lose the Super Bowl. I don't have any faith you're going to tell him no. I don't have any faith that you're not going to do what is right when everybody's looking. So this Brian Flores thing, like, I get it. I get the premise behind it. I get what they're trying to do. I get what they're trying to push, but it's stupid. And when you look at it from a reality aspect, when you look at it from both sides of the fence, when you look at it with logic, it has no merit. It has zero merit whatsoever. You got guys like the Jacksonville Jaguars were about to hire a minority head coach. Jacksonville Jaguars were going out and they were going to go ahead and get their former quarterback. What was his name? Byron Leftwich. They were about to hire Byron Leftwich and give him a job. But Byron Leftwich refuses the job because he wants his own GM. He wants to pick the GM. Who the hell is Byron Leftwich to try to pick the GM? So they tried hiring a minority head coach, but he turned down the job. That's another list that you don't see, is how many minority coaches take themselves out of the running. It happened to Detroit back in 2002, which is why the Rooney Rule became a thing, was because they went out and hired, who was it from the 49ers there, Mariucci, without interviewing anybody else, because that was their guy. That was their guy. So they went out and they got him. They didn't interview anybody else. Now, they said they had minority candidates who were interviewed, but it got out that Mariucci wanted the job and they wanted Mariucci, so they all withdrew from consideration. They got fined $200,000 for that. It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever to go out there and just take one part of one story and just grasp onto it and be like, yeah, that's definitely the reason. Look at logic. What does logic dictate to you? Logic dictates that, look, if you're a successful head coach, if you are somebody who comes in and you're running a scheme that they want to see, if you're running something that they want to do, you're going to get the job. I don't think the color of your skin matters at that point. Mike Tomlin's proven that. Tony Dungy proved that. Tom Flores proved that. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the fact that we're not just going to all these interviews are shams and we can't just fake interview them. Well, if I know who my guy is, every interview after that is fake. Every interview after that is null and void. So I don't get it, and I don't get the whole money thing. Like, oh, well, they were offering. Well, did you take it? Because if you're telling me you took it, then throw that argument right out the window. Throw that argument right out the window and get the hell out of my face and get the hell out of my league, because you're not welcome here anymore. And the same thing with the owners. If the owners were doing this, get the hell out of my league, because you're not welcome here anymore. And that's what the NFL needs to do. That's what the NFL should do. They're not going to, but that's what they should do. I see the chat's blowing up here. We got one funky Lions fan. What's going on, one funky? All Lions fans are funky in my opinion, but hey, what the hell do I know? I'm a Bears fan. So my question is, why has no one said anything about the black GMs who just hired white coaches? Ryan Poles, hire Matt Eberflus. I'll give you a little insight into that, being a Bears fan. I don't think Ryan Poles had much of a choice. I think he was given 3 names and said, here, pick from these 3, because these are the 3 we interviewed before we hired you. So I think he picked the one guy that he knew and went with it. But you know what? They've hired minority coaches on their staff. Those guys now have opportunities. If you bring in, your trying to see, I just saw the staff introduced. But if you bring in an offensive coordinator or defense, you bring in an offensive coordinator on this team who is of color, and all of a sudden the Bears offense takes off. That guy's going to be a head coach in 2 to 3 years, and it doesn't matter the color of his skin. He's going to be sought after. Eric Bieniemy is a very sought after head coach. So I don't subscribe to the notion that the color of your skin prompts whether or not you get a job. And you do have black GMs that hire white head coaches. Does that mean that they're racist? No, it means they had their guy. They got their guy that they believed in. So it boggles my mind, and we hear it all the time on all these other networks, the ESPNs, the Fox Sports, the CBS Sports, all these other stations that go with the political narrative, the media-driven narrative of what sells, right? And what sells right now in this country? Racism sells. And as sickening as it is, and as terrible as it is, that's what they latch onto, and that's what they drive, and that's what they sell. Because that's what they sell. And look, I got people messaging me after the show the other night when we talked about this with Luke G. And they're like, well, what the hell do you know? Blah, 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 you're white, blah, 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 blah. If your contradiction to talk about racism is to tell me that my opinion doesn't matter because of my race, I've got no time for you. I've got no room for you. Because you're doing the same thing that you're complaining about. Absolutely, positively, a white male can have a view on racism. And there's plenty of it in this world. There is plenty of it. I am not blind to the fact that there's racism in this country, in this world. Obviously, it's there. It exists. And it's gross. And I don't subscribe to that notion at all, whatsoever. I have no time for it. But to sit there and come at somebody about racism and then discriminate them because of their race, because of their opinion, and their race, their opinion doesn't matter because of their race, it's the very definition of racism. Plain and simple. Whether I'm white, I'm black, I'm Mexican, it don't matter. My opinion is my opinion. And my opinion on racism doesn't matter just because of my race. Sorry. Funky says, like Whoopi saying what she just said, makes her invalid in any cover. 110%. Look, any of those women on that show, man, I don't even know how people still watch that show. I don't even know why people ever started watching that show. I mean, just unbelievable. Drew says, Funky, what'd she say? She was talking about how the Holocaust wasn't about race. The Holocaust wasn't about, it had nothing to do with racism. Because it was, I believe, something along this fact, because it was, two predominantly white races. So it couldn't have had anything to do about racism, which is completely false. I hate to put this out there. I don't know the race of some of the people that are out there. I know, look, Javier is Hispanic, one Funky Lions fan. I have no clue what your race is. It doesn't even matter. But at this point, like, whatever your point of view is your point of view. And if you're black, you could be racist. If you're Mexican, you could be racist. If you're Asian, you could be racist. If you're white, you could be racist. It goes all ways. and to diminish somebody's point of view because of their race, that's racism. I'm sorry, but it is. And if you don't like it and you don't believe that that's true, then you're clueless. And I have no time for you. Plain and simple. At any rate, we're going to get to another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some more sports. We got a lot of other updates. I want to talk about this Pro Bowl, man. This Pro Bowl stuff is nauseating. I'll never watch it again. We'll be back. Give us a few minutes.
What's going on, Belly Up sports fans? Thanks for tuning in to the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. We have some really exciting news for several Belly Up Podcast Network shows. The Sports Stove Podcast, the Rough Cut Sportscast, and Here in Puckburg have all been nominated for a Sports Podcast Award. So, head on over to sportspodcastawards.com and make sure to vote for the Sports Stove Podcast for Best College Sports Podcast and Best News and Current Affairs Podcast. Vote for the Rough Cut Sportscast for Best American Football Podcast, and vote for Here in Puckburg for Best Winter Sports Podcast. Again, that website is sportspodcastawards.com. Thanks for being the best part of Belly Up Sports. We are what they are.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase the bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. I'll give up everything. If I can see my dreams, things up. 'Cause I'll do anything. Make what a reality. Don't let go. Don't let go. I'll make things up. 'Cause I'll do anything. Make what a reality. I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this. I just wanna break these chains. Always destined for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many once, I just so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail. I'll give up everything, daunting if I can see my dream. Cause I'll do anything, want a reality. I'll give up everything, daunting if I can see my dreams. Things up, 'cause I'll do anything, make what a reality. Don't let go. Don't let go. I'll make things up, 'cause I'll do anything, make what a reality.
And welcome back to the best damn sports radio show on the planet. This is Man Hour. I'm your host, Beastie Brandon Combs. Welcome to Hour 2. If you have not yet done so, please click like, share, and subscribe on whichever platform you're watching us on. If you're watching us on Roku TV or TikiTV.com and you like what you see, you can head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. Subscribe for as little as $2.99 a month. Become a member of Man Hour Nation. Once you're a member, head on over to manhourradio.com. Click on the merchandise tab. Get yourself some hot Man Hour gear. We have hats, we have shirts, we have hoodies, we have joggers, phone cases, and much, much more. I'm not wearing any Man Hour gear tonight. I, just didn't feel like getting all dressed. But you see the Man Hour hat in the back there. You can see the Man Hour phone case that I've got going on. So, check it out, guys. Get yourself some nice swag. I gotta say, Buck's been doing a good job with some of these new ads. I like some of these things. I don't know if we're gonna get hit on copyright strikes on any of them, but I do like what he's done there. Some of those are good. Javier says, Combs, I got 5 sacks on LA, even though I want the Bengals to win. God. Hey, Javi, man, if you want to just send 5 stacks my way, I'll take it. Like, I could use it. We were just talking earlier in the show about people that got money and spend it. Give it to people who are less fortunate. Javi, I will take the 5 stacks, man. And I will put it to good use here on Man Hour. I ain't going to lie. At any rate, just kidding, man. Good luck on that bet. Hope you hit big. Appreciate everything you do for us here, Javi. So, did anybody watch the Pro Bowl tonight? I see Javier is still in the chat. Drew's still in the chat. If any of you watched the Pro Bowl today, how do you feel about the 2-hand touch? Like, I don't know if this has been an ongoing theme. Maybe I just never, really tuned into the Pro Bowl before. But I watched about 3 minutes of the Pro Bowl. And after that 3 minutes, I was so disgusted with what I was watching on TV that I rewatched The Dark Knight with Michelle and let Michelle gain some Batman knowledge. She's never seen any of the Batman movies, which to me was more shocking news than anything. So I showed her The Dark Knight. We're going to go watch the new Batman movie when it comes out in theaters. But the Pro Bowl was just so bad. So bad. I started watching highlights afterwards, and I'm talking about like the ball gets snapped at the line of scrimmage, and the linemen just stand up. On the defensive and offensive side of the ball, they just stand up, and they put one hand on one another. What in the hell is this? You guys are Pro Bowlers because you are the best of the best going into that game. You guys are the ones who were voted to be the best at your positions. You guys are the ones who were voted, well, not the best at the ones who didn't make the Super Bowl and the best at your position. And you go out there and you play 2-hand touch. Just cancel the game. Make the Pro Bowl a ceremony prior to the Super Bowl. You got 6 hours of pre-show. Make the Pro Bowl a ceremony during the Super Bowl. Announce who the Pro Bowlers are. Give them their award for being a Pro Bowler. Because going out with that farce of a game is just, I mean, it's stupid. Yeah, it's so bad. It's unwatchable. It's not good football. These guys aren't playing. They're not doing anything. I watched Stephon Diggs walk into the end zone from the 5-yard line untouched because the linemen just stood up and touched one another. Diggs ran it in. His brother fell down. He points at his brother while he's walking in. And it's supposedly big news. It's all over ESPN. Oh, look, Diggs points at his brother to cap off AFC Pro Bowl. That's not a win. It's not a victory. I think it's a loss on both sides that you only put up 45 points each. They're not even playing. What are we doing? What is it? The NFL has to do something because this is terrible. Terrible. And I'm telling you right now, I will never lay eyes on the Pro Bowl again until they fix it. And to be honest with you, just cancel the game. You know what they should do with the Pro Bowl? And I've said this before. I say you take the 2 teams with the worst records, the number 1 and the number 2 draft pick, and you make them play a football game against one another. And the winner of that game gets the number 1 draft pick. That would be much better TV than the Pro Bowl. And I know you're going to get kicked back. People are like, oh, you can't make guys go out there and play for draft picks. You can't make them go out there and play for something like that because then who's to say, blah, blah, if one of them gets hurt during that game, blah, 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 blah. I get it. And it probably never happened. But it's one of those things where you could do something more with what you got, because the Pro Bowl is just, it's garbage. This is backyard. You're 4 years old and you don't want to get tackled, so let's just play two-hand touch. It's just, it's unbelievable. Funky Lions fan says, call the game the toilet bowl. Yes, that's what we call our fantasy football. Could we have a whole bracket. If you don't make the playoffs, you go into the toilet bowl bracket. And if you win the toilet bowl, you get the number one draft pick the next season. The NFL could absolutely positively make money on that. There's no way that they would lose out on that deal. Get back into things. I know people are still talking about the last segment. I see a lot of comments up there. We'll get back into that stuff because some of that stuff I definitely want to address. I see Drew in there. I see Funky Lions fan in there. So we'll talk about that stuff here in a few minutes. But Alpha Rob says the Pro Bowl has been bad for years. I agree. The Pro Bowl skills competition is kind of fun to watch. I know I was watching a little bit of the dodgeball the other night. That was a little bit fun to watch. It's just, again, a ceremony prior to the Super Bowl during the 6-hour freaking pregame show. Throw it in there. Give these guys their awards. Let them talk on camera. Let them, talk about whatever it is, and let that go from there. You don't have to you don't have to play this farce of a game. It's a joke. He said, at least they got rid of the Young Stars beach game. Yeah. God, what is it that what was it that used to come on? They would put it on during Super Bowl halftime. It was pay-per-view or whatnot, but it's the Lingerie Bowl. Let's get into that. Let's get cheerleaders from each team to play in the Pro Bowl and the Lingerie Bowl. Why not? This is a great idea. It'd be a hell of a lot more entertaining than what the hell we watched today. I'm all for it. Drew said it was fun watching the Diggs brothers go in. That wasn't fun. What part of that was fun? They weren't playing. Yeah, they were jawing back and forth. They were going at it, but they weren't like that. That wasn't. Oh, it was terrible, Drew. It was awful. I will never watch another Pro Bowl. Ever. Not 1 second of my life will ever be wasted watching another Pro Bowl because they're not doing anything to change it. And it gets worse every year. It gets worse every single season. So there is no way that I'm going to waste any of my time watching that. Just not. So moving on, we got some other stories out there. I'm just kind of going to swing from the hip here, guys, because, there's lots of stuff going on out there. Being on a solo show is tough. Sometimes you run out of stuff. You think you talk a little bit longer, but then you realize that there's nobody there talking with you, so you can't really double the time. I appreciate you guys in the comments, so you guys are living it up over there. But speaking of the Pro Bowl, Herbert and Crosby were the MVPs in the AFC's Pro Bowl victory. Whip-de-frickin-do. Whip-de-do. Again, you're not playing, you're not doing anything. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke. Dolphins are on the verge. Javier, you might like this. Dolphins are on the verge of hiring San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel as the next head coach. Dolphins have agreed to a deal with San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel to make him their next head coach. The team announced on Sunday. The other finalist was Kellen Moore. I don't know how to feel about this one, right? Look, I think McDaniel getting to move a step up is kind of a move. You've got a guy who, with an offense that really sputtered. I think they have 1, maybe 2 offensive touchdowns in the playoffs. I mean, I just don't get it. There might be something to the hire. I mean, I do know that you looked at the Denver Broncos who hired the Packers offensive coordinator, and there's word that that's in hopes of getting Aaron Rodgers over there. I know Jimmy G is probably done in San Francisco, so maybe this is something to get Jimmy G to Miami. This could be something that they want, maybe they want to bring Jimmy G over, but again, you've got Tua, is one of the, I know for the Bears, one of the big things in hiring a head coach had to have been, what is your plan for evolving and training and making this offense the best it can be under Justin Fields. Doesn't it have to be that way right now in Miami, or are they ready to write off Tua if you're going to bring in Jimmy G? Either way, Alpha Rob says, man, nobody wants Frazier. Leslie Frazier is terrible. Leslie Frazier is 21-32-1 as a head coach. 21-32-1. What part about that says, yeah, let's give this guy another chance? I just don't do it. And we talked about this, the sham interviews. If a guy like Leslie Frazier or Hugh Jackson or who are one of these other ones that had it, Raheem Morris, Romeo Crennel, if guys like that get another job, is it only Todd Bowles is another one? Is it only because of the color of their skin that they got hired? That's something you could throw out there too, right? Because these guys, are really, really terrible head coaching options. Guys that could not win as a head coach. And for what reason are you needing to go give these guys a second chance? I'd rather take a chance on a guy who has never coached in the league before I give the head coach a nod to somebody who has never won in this league, who's proved that they can't win in this league. So I wouldn't want Leslie Frazier either, Alpha Rob. I know you're trying to get rid of him out there in Buffalo. I know you want to see him leave Buffalo. That's why you're trying to pawn him off. But I don't think anybody's going to take that bait. It would be hard pressed, right? You're going to have to find an organization that just wants to make that. Maybe the Houston Texans. They might want Leslie Frazier. If you're going to get rid of Leslie Frazier, it's going to be as another coordinator somewhere else down the line, or he's going to have to move down to a positions coach or something because he's not that guy. No, you're right. Nobody wants Frazier. Alpha Rob says, I'm trying. I know you're trying. It's part of what we do. We try. But I am going to get to another break, and when I come back, we're going to do something different here. I got some interesting, strange news stories I want to talk about. We're gonna throw up some strange news stories. Get your guys' opinions on some of these news stories when we get back. Non-sports related, by the way. Just some strange news stories that have come up over the last month or so. Let's get your take on them. We'll be right back.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. That means we give the people what they want. Expert fantasy advice, leading medical and legal analysis, free contests, and innovative games to keep you entertained. Watch us live with the Tiki Live app on the Belly Up Sports channel, subscribe to us on YouTube, or follow us on all social media platforms. Visit TSSFantasy.com today for all the latest updates from the Fantasy Show of the People. We put the fun in fantasy.
Yeah!
I use mayo over sour cream, yeah.
Right. That's because you have high cholesterol. Okay. If you drafted Julio Jones,
You got ghosted.
This is amazing. TSS Fantasy is like an orgasm. If I had a cigarette, I'd smoke it. I'm pumped to be here. This is the show of shows.
TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
I was built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past. I'm achieving. Got my foot on the gas. Never stop competing. If you break my glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. Go to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em.
All right, we are back. Javier says TSS. What? That's TSS Fantasy. That's part of Belly Up Sports network that we are have put ourselves in with. Look, they do a great job over there, Belly Up Sports. They've got a radio station now. They've got a TV station. They are basically the new Barstool, and they are better than Barstool. These guys are putting together something that is going to take off and be great. And again, it's just one of those. It's another platform that has allowed us to put our show, and they've recognized the talent on this show. They recognize what we do, and we get a lot of interaction with this group. It's a lot of fun. We are extremely excited to be a part of Belly Up Sports. So, Man Hour Nation, if you have not yet checked it out, check out Belly Up Sports, Tiki TV. We are there every Monday through Friday. I believe we're there 8 to 10. We're also on the radio station 1 to 3 Monday through Friday as well. So definitely check them out. Check out Belly Up Sports. Check out all the other stuff that they do too. TSS Fantasy is one of them. They've got a couple of other sports podcasts that are up for some sports podcast awards. So they do a good job. Let's give them some love. Let's show them what Man Hour Nation is all about. And let's blow them up. At any rate, speaking of blowing up, I want to give you guys some strange news stories, right? And one of those things that I like to do is I like to hear about like funny, odd, crazy news stories that just like you're like, what the heck? And there are quite a few of them. There's more than you would think. If you look up strange news stories, there's absolutely more than you would think. So let's get into some of them, right? First one here, the title is Florida Man Steals a Car, Train Sends it crashing into house. A Florida man says he jumped from a stolen car seconds before he was hit by a train and sent flying into a nearby home. The sleeping residents were unharmed, and the man was later arrested. That is some... I don't know if you call that karma, or if you call that bad luck, or if you call that bad luck and karma, like I think that's everything all balled into one. You steal a car and it damn near gets hit by a train. You jump from the car, save your life. It gets flown into a home where nobody is harmed. And then you get arrested. Like, stuff like that. But like, I would love to have just, that's something you would want to see on TV. Like, you would want to watch the whole event just unfold. Like, it would just capture you. You would watch the whole thing too. You really would. Don't say that you wouldn't, because you would. Javier says always in Florida. Florida and Ohio seem to have a lot of them. I'm not going to lie. Another one here. Florida home to be sold in a novel, non-fungible token deal. A home along Florida's Gulf Coast will be auctioned off in the upcoming week as a non-fungible token in what's believed to be among the first such transaction in the U.S. Non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, use a version of the encryption technology employed to secure cryptocurrencies to create one-of-a-kind digital objects. So basically, there's a Florida home that is going to be bought with cryptocurrency. And I don't know about you guys, but cryptocurrency to me is kind of like a Ponzi scheme, isn't it? I mean, because it's got no real value. Show me a crypto dollar. Show me the option on the store where you can go to the grocery store or to wherever. If I want to go I want to go buy a new 80-inch TV. Show me where at Best Buy I can use cryptocurrency. Show me the value of cryptocurrency. The only value of cryptocurrency is what all these computer techs make it to be. It's all in the stock, but it's got no real value. And now somebody's going to buy a home with it? That's insane. Good for the person that's buying it, though. Probably bad for the person that's selling it. Cryptocurrency is just unreal. Someone come in with the name No One. No One says basically the same as U.S. currency. There's no real value other than the people that agree on it to be. I mean, I can show you a dollar at least. I could show you a quarter and a nickel and a dime. Can you show me cryptocurrency? That's not on the screen, that's actually in a physical form? I doubt it. Because I don't think it exists. All right, let's move on. Another one here. Mystery smell in city is likened to sewage and animal corpses. In Hattiesburg, Mississippi, residents say a mysterious smell, one that has lingered for months in the past years, is back in downtown Hattiesburg. The Hattiesburg American reports that its source is unknown, but it smells like sewage and animal corpses. I don't even know what to say about this one. I'm reading these first, and I'm reacting to them first with you guys. I clicked on this site. I didn't read any of the stories. I'm going with it. It's just something new. I'm trying to see how you guys like it. So first of all, I got a couple questions. Who likened it to the smell of animal corpses? Like, you always wonder, like, somebody is like, man, that smells like freaking, I don't know. They'll say something stupid, right? Like, that smells like ass, or that tastes like dog turd. How do you know what dog turd tastes like? That's the same thing. Like, who's out there smelling animal corpses to know what that smell is? Like, you get a smell, and you're like, yeah, it smells like an animal corpse. Like, what the hell? What in the hell is going on in Mississippi? I don't know. That one gets to me. Colorado deputy rescues a pup from a burning SUV. A sheriff's deputy is being praised for smashing the windows of a burning SUV and rescuing a frightened dog in a neighborhood south of Denver. That's actually a good story. I don't think that one's crazy at all. Let's see what we got here. A wandering hen taken into custody at Pentagon security area. Here's one. In Washington, a wandering chicken was caught sneaking around security area at the Pentagon. A local animal welfare organization said the loose hen was found early Monday morning near the Pentagon. Like, suicide chicken? I mean, what were they doing? They took a chicken into custody. Most notably, did they have a good dinner? I don't know. Drew says, are you sure that hen wasn't Pelosi? That might have been that might have been her visiting Mississippi. Maybe that's what that smell was. Oh, man. Moving on. Apparently, it was Javier. Poor Javier, man. We're getting into a lot of different stories about Florida. But it got so cold in Florida, iguanas were falling from the trees. A cold snap in Florida is different than in other places. We put on heavy coats when it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. No blizzard conditions here in the sunshine shape, but we have our issues as well when the thermometer drops. And there may have not been snow, but there are iguanas falling from the sky. Like, were they dead? That's what were they dead? Because, I mean, that's look, I like iguana. I like lizards, iguanas, all that type. I don't do snakes. I don't do snakes. Snake falls from the tree, I'm moving. Like, far, far away. But I do like iguanas. I do like lizards. You know, I do like that type of stuff. So I hope that they weren't dead. I just find it funny that they're falling from the trees because it got so cold in Florida. And cold in Florida, like they said in the story, is 50 degrees. I didn't know iguanas couldn't handle cold weather. That's the first. Last one here. Embarrassed burglar leaves $200 and flees the home with his AR-15. The owners of a New Mexico home were doubly surprised over the weekend to find a burglar in their house with an AR-15, and then to have him apologize and give them the money and leave embarrassed. The man had slept, bathed, dined, and had some beer at the home on the outskirts of Santa Fe before the owners returned and discovered him, according to Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office police report cited by the Albuquerque Journal. He had an AR-15 scoped rifle, but didn't threaten them or take any of their jewelry or their belongings. Instead, he gave the homeowners $200 as reimbursement for the window he broke. The suspect, about 6 feet tall and in his late 20s, also shared a bit of his story, telling the owners he was running from someone and that his family had been killed in East Texas, according to the report. He said his car had broken down outside Santa Fe. Holy crap. So this guy breaks into a home, is on the run, tells the people who find him there, I'm sorry, gives him money, and then tells him a story about his family was killed in East Texas, and he's on the run. That sounds like an HBO Max exclusive. It sounds like something that there is going to be some sort of TV show drawn up on. That is crazy. Anyway, I think that segment would have been a lot better had I had somebody else on here with me to go back and forth. I know you guys are in here. Alpha Rob says he just wanted a quiet meal alone. You know, maybe. Hopefully he wasn't the one that killed his family. God. Javier says, is this a Netflix show? I have connections. All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for now. We will be back tomorrow night. I will have some guests on with me. Bring a stronger show to you for sure. But as always, Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Are you ready for the best damn